afternoon and good evening. Welcome back to the Generation Clash. I am here, of course, again with my dad, representative of Generation X. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be back to have a robust discussion.
All right.
I hope you guys will enjoy it.
So it looks like the last one was pretty good. Got a few comments. I think. Let me just go back to that and see. 1 second. Yeah. Oh, it got deleted. All right, so forget it. No comments. No comments. I don't know what happened to the last one, but it was deleted. Anyway, that was a lot of fun making that episode. So looking forward to, of course, this one. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about the USAID.
Yes.
And after that, it was going to be which one?
You can talk about the one after. You don't have to talk about this one. Gonna be about the
USAID.
USAID. Yes.
And then birthright citizenship, you said. So yeah, USAID. Man, the amount of fraud coming out of that has been insane. I had no idea that USAID was that nefarious. I guess it's not that shocking, but I definitely was not ready for all of that. It looks like it's something that's been overdue for a long time, and it was from how it looks like it was a like the one of the main ways that our influence is used to subvert democracies around the world. It looks like that's where they would try to push first their bloodless coups, but if they didn't need to get money to, say, Al Qaeda or Hamas or the death squads in South America, USAID would be one of the main ways to get it. In addition to, funding gender studies in Baghdad and understanding how giraffes wrestle while they're on meth. Just there's a lot of people who could use their own money, and so to hear that the government is using their money so liberally across the world, I know me. I definitely could hold on to some of my tax dollars and have used it in a more productive way. And I think a lot of people would agree with me. It turns out we learned once again the government cannot spend your money better than you. So I've been loving everything I've been seeing. Some of the stuff that it came out USAID was spending money on was simply a disaster. So yeah, you want to use that? Yeah. I take it you don't agree.
Well, hello everyone. For me, the USAID or USAID, to me, I looked on it from both sides. On one hand, it helps a lot of poor people who wouldn't otherwise get help. For instance, in Africa, a lot of kids now are born with HIV and other disease that money used to go towards helping. On the other hand, it is used just like my panel here says. It is used for nefarious reason, and that's the part of it I do not like.
That's your money.
I also...
Could you have used more of your own money?
No.
Oh.
I also believe...
Okay.
I also believe that countries have become dependent on America for handout. And I believe these countries need to take a different approach and find ways to build their country so they don't depend on America for handout. And when they do that, in my opinion, America will have less influence inflasting their money in front of them. Say, if you don't do this, then you won't get that, which is what Trump is doing now. Basically, one of the reasons I believe why Trump take away this international aid, any country who don't agree with him will not get it. Those who he can push around and bully around, he will give them back the money. And as if I was a leader of any country, I would not want to be in that predicament where somebody bribe me to do something that is against who the person I am. So on one hand, I can see how the money is useful. On the other hand, I can see how it be detrimental. And if I had a choice, I would want to build my country so I do not have to depend on America for my livelihood.
So yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not against helping other countries. Like, you know, if America was in a better place financially, and the earthquake in Japan happened, or that happened in Haiti some years ago, I would not be against, of course, doing something to help, especially a place like Haiti, which is not nearly as developed as Japan. That's not what I'm against. What I'm against is the rampant and unchecked fraud that's been going on for decades and decades. That's obviously what I'm against. And you are right in that this was obviously, you know, going to buy influence in these countries. An example of that is an example of it probably going to buy an influence and, you know, slush fund and other things is the example of the USAID. There was a story about USAID funding mine removal out of Cambodia. Apparently Cambodia has just, like, I don't know, acres and acres upon acres of unexploded ordnance in the ground from the Vietnam War. And the USAID was, like, according to this report, was funding, if not the majority, like almost half of the money to remove those ordnance from the ground. And I'm thinking to myself, why is another country in charge of making walking in your country safe? That's crazy. That's insane, right? So in my mind, so they gotta be buying influence, because there's no way you as a leader you're telling your people, hey, I'm sorry guys, look, you know, I just don't have the money to keep your kids from getting their feet blown off from walking over there in the field. Sorry guys, you know, hey, if America wants to give us more money, sure, we'll go ahead and do that. That just, you know, and I'm sure that doesn't make any sense to you. So I don't think the part of the money that was going to aid, I would personally be shocked if more than 30% actually made it to whatever aid it said it was going to go to. There's no way all of that money that was going to Cambodia strictly went to clearing those mines. If that was the case, there'd be no mines left in the ground. You know, and that goes towards any piece of aid that was sent anywhere. The majority of it, the vast majority of it, again, I would be shocked if 30% of aid sent to any particular package actually went to the cause that it was supposed to go for. I'd be shocked if more than 30%. I'd be absolutely shocked. How much money do you think was going to clear the mines in Cambodia, as an example?
Well, that I don't know, because I don't have the number, and I don't want to speak a number that I don't have.
Okay, but given how much fraud you've seen, how much do you really think
I am against corruption.
Of course.
I wipe out all corruption.
Yes.
This same aid here, I don't remember how much exactly was going to Jamaica, and they was skillfully to siphon off 1.5 million to push gay issue in Jamaica.
And there you go.
And I am totally against such thing. Yeah. Do not push America value on Jamaicans people.
And that's not an American value. That's a specific subset of people who want to push that trash.
I disagree. This is American value.
No way.
I totally agree with that. So in order to get that money, you have to agree that 1.5 million will go to a cause that most Jamaican does not support.
And that does not help the country develop in the way it needs to develop.
And so in that aspect, I agree, cut out those corruption. Anywhere corruption is, it need to be totally deleted and make redundant. However, on the other side, let's go back over where he was in Asia. In Vietnam, the same money here was using to correct a wrong that America had done in the 60s. And today it is still as prevalent as it was in the 60s, and it is the Agent Orange. People are still banning over there deformative because America.
That's a big deal. Yeah.
America claimed that they didn't know Agent Orange was so deadly.
Right.
Something I don't subscribe to. It could be true, but I don't subscribe to that.
They knew.
I believe
Or
that
they
they
quickly
knew.
found out that it was that bad.
So those people are still suffering, and the aid is cut for them. So I believe that there is a way where you could move slower, carve the fat off the meat, and leave the lean part, which is good to eat. But that didn't happen because most of these aids go into black and brown countries. There was no regards. Just throw the baby out with the dirty water approach they are taking. And that, to me, is inhumane. It is the same mindset that goes into America racism. The same mindset. These people don't deserve it, so we don't care about it. The bombs that he spoke about.
As an example of.
Yeah, the mines. Mm-hmm. America has done lots of goods around the world, and it also have done lots of evil. And I'm quoting our sitting president. That's exactly what he said.
That's true.
All right. These mines in Cambodia, most of these mines were made in the United States. So to me, if it takes all of America budget to clean up those mines, then use American budget to clean up the mine because you make the mess. But historically, what America has done, they would keep a country hungry, and when America give them food, America said, look how great we are. We are saving these people from starving. And that aspect of America I frowned upon. I don't like that. I believe in a policy that treats everyone equally, not separate and unequal treatment.
Yeah, that would be ideal. That would be ideal. So all right, you want the aid to continue, right? And I think
and the corruption to stop.
Right. Okay. So that's the ideal setup, right? And I think that's what at least we have a chance to move towards that for the first time in I don't know how many decades. At least since this thing has started. This is the first time where some kind of audit is being done where we're seeing, okay, why is the money being sent to buying condoms for Hamas instead of maybe food for the people in the Hamas zone or whatever? And this is the first time those questions are being asked, and that's great. What I don't think you're thinking about is, all right, so we have all this aid going out the door, and you said something like, all right, if the aid is can be used to pick up the bombs out of the ground in like Cambodia and do good in Vietnam where all this terrible things happen, and the Vietnam War it turned out to be just as Baghdad, just as the first Gulf War, just as Afghanistan, the fake war didn't need to happen. A specific amount of people decided to sacrifice not only American lives and American money, but countless lives of people in this area that they selected to do this wickedness in. And I would love to see those people face justice. Maybe be even given to the countries that they destroyed. But that's another thing. America today is able to do Libya. Well, in past very recent administrations was able to go in and destroy Libya, right? And you're telling me that the same people who are committing the heinous act of destroying the most advanced country in Africa, the one that was in a position to lead other African countries into a more modernized area, the one that was able to provide aid itself to and it not be on America's shoulders and Western culture's shoulders to aid other countries struggling in Africa. They were able to take that country and destroy it and make it into an open air slave market. But they're just open heart doing great things with USAID in Vietnam. No, there's no way. There's no way. Obviously, like I was saying, the best case scenario is a maximum of 30%. And I would be absolutely, totally shocked if it hit 30% of the money was going to the cause. Much more likely, unfortunately, the money was going to either slush funds where the disgusting degenerate politicians would get it back. It was propping up friendly regimes, suppressing the will of the people in that area. USAID was not this good thing or a majority good thing. It was a way for the deep state, the State Department, the Pentagon, the CIA, that part of the government to clandestinely influence and attack other countries, whether it's through pushing gay nonsense in like they're doing in Jamaica and obviously all around the world, or more direct things of sponsoring dissidents or a political party which is more friendly to the U.S., but may bring about death squads like we've seen throughout history. So USAID, I would not mind it disappearing. It's done enough bad. I don't think we'll ever find out as bad as it just how bad it was. But the picture that we've seen so far paints a gruesome, grotesque landscape of murder and deceit, and I'm all set with it.
Okay. So about 8,000 workers has been laid off or fired. I'm not sure which one, or maybe
could be more, could be less.
Both, maybe some of both.
Jesus, 8,000.
One of the employer that was let go, a Trump supporter, say,
right.
I quote: "They are not looking for competency.
Mm-hmm.
They are not looking for if you are good at your job.
Yeah.
They are looking for pure loyalty tests, and if you don't give it, you will be punished."
Okay.
That is totally wrong. That's not what America is about.
Now, this is the same guy that's helping to push homosexuality in Jamaica, and he wants to continue to do that.
Which guy?
You can assume that he's on board for that.
No. It was the administration.
He's not on board.
It was Biden administration.
And
most of these people
he's
don't know.
in the agency pushing that. That's what I'm telling you.
Most of these people don't know where the money is. What the money is doing.
Man, come on. They're on board. They are on board. What they're getting is a check. At best, I'll say that they don't care. But I'm not gonna say that they're fighting within the system to stop it. No way.
You're working for the agency, right? The president and his people says, "All right, you know what? Jamaica is a homophobic, whatever.
Jamaica is.
We're going to send
not
$5 million to Jamaica, but we want 1.5 to go to the gay whatever movement." So they send the money to Jamaica and state this is what we want to do. Most of those people doesn't know the detrimental effect of their work.
All right. Let's say that's the case. How so this guy should be able to continue operating in secret as things were, so he can fund terrorist groups around the world who are friendly to the United States, but to the indigenous population. They will institute a coup by any means necessary, or maybe they'll start off peaceful, but it'll end up in a bloody conflict. No.
Well,
he can be upset, and he can take his disgusting propaganda and shove it. Look. I don't feel bad for that guy. First of all, there's too many people in the government. 8,000 people from this one organization. Look how
it's a worldwide organization.
Yeah.
What do you expect? 8?
Way less than that, and I'm glad he's gone. I don't know about him. I don't know. Look, I don't know this guy in particular. And guy, if you hear this for some whatever reason, I have nothing against you. If you were one of the good ones, I hope you get back in there. But what we need is dramatic change, because what's been going on in my name with my money has been ridiculous. I do not want America to be funding mayhem and death around the world, and USAID, without a shadow of a doubt, has been mostly used for that purpose.
Okay, so if that's the criteria in which you will be against USAID, then every institution in the United States government should be disbanded. The FBI, the CIA, DOJ, the president, the Congress, the Senate.
Jesus, please hear him, high God, and may it happen, kid.
All of them has created havoc around the world.
And I would love for every single one of those freaks, every nasty, disgusting piece of trash that lied to you and my face and said your tax dollars are doing good in Libya. Your tax dollars are doing good in Afghanistan. Oh, we're going to be greeted as heroes in Iraq. It would be one of the greatest days in my life to see those people held accountable and to see their work shown to be the farce that it was. Now, most people understand, but there's still some people who think that the edifice of government is mostly a good thing. As you just so eloquently put, that's what needs to happen.
But so if all of those things is disbanded, America would be in chaos.
No, I don't think so.
You need a government, you need the Congress, you need the Senate.
Right. So maybe not a complete dissolving of the government, right? Maybe that's too much, but it needs to be cut down by a more than 50%. I'll take 50%.
I do not disagree. I do not disagree again that there's corruption and waste, and all of those corruption and waste.
It's a majority corruption and waste. Majority.
I don't think it's majority, but I think it's a lot. I don't think it's majority.
Daddy, I don't understand.
If it was majority, America would not function as it is, because corruption is what messed up country.
Look at how it's functioning. You got open air drug in every single blue state. You got zombies walking around, rattled with drugs, crazy drugs. We had an open border for 4 years. We're funding every single disgusting murderous regime around the world because they're friendly to some degree with the U.S. until they're not, and then boom, it's time to overthrow them. Look at how we're functioning. It's awful. It's terrible. You got record medical debt. For most Americans, the highest debt that they have is medical debt. We can't afford health care. All our money is being siphoned and then funneled to the state to do evil and wicked and degenerate things, and then the degenerate, disgusting people put it in whatever's left from their murder and debauchery. They put in their pockets. Our country's, at least in I'm hoping Trump is a departure from that, but our country has been run very, very badly for at least, definitely all of my lifetime. Definitely all of my lifetime.
If you are for arresting and locking up all these leaders that do corruption and break the law,
George Bush, Obama,
the first one should be
Clinton.
Arrested is our current president. He is a convicted.
He's the first
felon.
one.
Yes, he's a convicted felon.
So you would arrest him over George Bush?
I am just saying you cannot differentiate.
No, put them all on trial. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, our current president is found is a convicted felon.
yeah.
He's by the American people.
Isn't it so funny how George Bush?
I totally against that war, by the way. I totally against that war.
And does it not at least make you question why it is how it is Trump can get found guilty of supposedly it wasn't a rape. I don't know what it was. It was rape.
No.
Because he's the
It was rape
it
in Macy's
it
dressing room.
She said that he fingered her or something in the dressing room, and she couldn't remember where, when, how.
No, that's not true.
Yes, it is true.
She told that it was Macy's dressing room.
Yeah, and then she didn't remember what year. She didn't remember. She said it. I don't think she said Macy's dressing. I think she just said in Macy's. Basically.
No, your fact is incorrect.
Okay, well, we'll look it up. But the fact of the matter is that they could find him guilty of that, which obviously was political theater. That was a kangaroo court, obviously. But we have all the evidence we need to find George Bush guilty of the war crimes that he committed, and not even even a charge.
I don't have any.
Not even a charge. But doesn't that give you pause? Don't you think, man?
Many things in America give me pause.
Man, how? Okay, so they went after Trump, but they don't go after somebody who caused who at least in terms of the figurehead. Now there is a shadow government. Maybe there was pressures. Who I don't know. That could be. But as far as what I understand to be the case, the decisions were his. You got Obama, what he did to Libya. Come on. But somehow all that gets skipped over. None of that is worthy of a charge. But this woman comes out of nowhere.
I'm also against Libya. What they did to Libya, I'm also against that.
But yet Trump is the only one that can get a charge. Where's his Great War? Where's his mass graves of people, black and brown? You talk about black and brown people. Look how much of them died over in Afghanistan and Libya. But somehow we need to speed our way to Trump? No, come on. That's ridiculous.
I have no sympathy for Trump. Who I have sympathy for is the millions and millions of black people who are on probation or in prison.
Are dead because of disgusting, degenerate wars.
Counterpart. And here comes we have a president.
So hold on. So are the wars that were done under Bush and Obama worse than the crimes done by that you believe Trump did? Which one is worse?
But you're talking about apples and oranges. War cannot be compared with rape and
one's way worse.
And what they call attrition, cause almost started a war in the United States on January 6th. Okay. I guess you can compare.
So the false Afghanistan war, the false Afghanistan and Iraq war that Bush did, and then the false pretenses under which Libya was destroyed and turned into an open air slave market currently, right now, are those crimes worse than what Trump did?
With the attrition that on June 6th, for America...
You mean the insurrection?
Insurrection.
That's what you're calling it. It was a riot, but you're calling it insurrection.
Yeah. For January 6th, compared to what America did in Libya, January 6th was worse for America.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
What they did in Libya...
Wow.
Right? And Afghanistan. What they did in Libya and Afghanistan.
Jesus.
For those countries... It is worse what they did for those countries, for those citizens, compared to January 6th.
Jesus Christ.
So it all depends on your geographic location.
No.
Of course.
No. Libya being turned into an open-air slave market is a bigger tragedy than January 6th, no matter where you are in the entire universe. That's not, it doesn't even compare. I would take a January 6th every single day and still have Libya where it was. Are you kidding? Daddy, there's no way you seriously think that Libya being turned into an open-air slave market, as in black and brown men, women, children are being sold for sex slaves, for work, for target practice. I mean... It's the gambit of human degeneracy over there. It's
horrible. It's bad. It's horrible.
And you're telling me that January 6th to Americans over here is worse than what happened in Libya? Okay, so you're here in America. You think it's worse. You would rather have a January 6th again. I'm sorry. You would rather have a Libya again, as in Libya gets destroyed and turned into an open air. You'd rather that happen again than have a January 6th.
No, I would. I am an African, and I am.
Okay, but you're here in America and you're an American citizen.
I am Pan-Africanist, so everything, my view, will always in favor of Africa. Will always side on Africa side.
Could you imagine anybody else also agreeing that Libya getting destroyed is worse than January 6th?
Absolutely. A lot of people would say that.
So who do you think believes that January 6th is worse than the destruction of Libya?
Latin American would say that because their interest is American.
No, there's no American that would say that.
Absolutely, their interest is American.
Only the most TV zombified white woman would believe something like that. That is insane. First of all, by death count alone, it's already blasted out of the water. Libya's death count compared to January 6th death count, not even close. A woman was shot in the head, which was a tragedy, right? But compare that to how many people do you think died and are still dying in Libya's open air slave market?
I would say every day someone died.
I mean, every day at least 1,000 people die. So I would put it at currently, I'd say 2 million, 3 million people in horrible conditions. In horrible condition, women are being raped right now. Kids are being raped, sold. I mean, their organs harvested. In no conceivable way could a man or a woman or even a sentient child made in God's image believe that January 6th can be in any way compared to the suffering, to the death and mayhem that black people are having to deal with as an everyday reality. There's no way. There's no way.
You would be surprised. A lot of people would.
But those people have to be taken seriously.
People who call themselves patriotic, they only care about what's going on in America. So those people, I'm saying, to them, January 6th is more of a threat to the United States than what goes on anywhere else.
No patriot would believe that that January 6th is anything more than a little riot, and they would wish they would wish for Libya to be turned to an open air slave market to avoid a January 6th. No patriot would believe that. Okay. Because the American patriot wants to be a good leader for the world. There's no way you can be a good leader for the world and want a country to be turned into an open air slave market. So the only people who would believe that are the degenerates who did that. The Obama administration, the freaks and the demons that were running around with him. I don't fully think that Obama wanted to do that, but I think he didn't stand in the way. These things are not happening to Trump, and Trump is not some big angel that fell out of the sky. He just is, for whatever reason, not as big of a demon than we've seen in the past.
So you were saying that patriots are good leaders who would not want to see
needless pain and suffering. That's the bare minimum.
If that's
the bare minimum.
If that's on the axle on which you spin your thoughts, that means from the inception of the United States, America has not have one good leaders, because all of them come right down slavery, Jim Crow, hanging, lynching, coming all the way down.
Okay, so
most of them see war after war.
Okay, so what I'm talking about is you're comparing a January 6th, right? Which one would I rather be inflicted on the world? January 6th in America? What happened in January 6th in America? Or Libya being turned into an open air slave market? That's what I'm talking about.
Are you talking?
There's no patriot.
I didn't know you were talking about the world. I thought you were talking about Libya and United States.
If a person has to pick between one or the other to happen, there's no American patriot that would say, "Oh yeah, let Libya be turned into an open air slave market so that we don't have another January 6th."
Of course, Lat would say that. What are you talking? This is America.
No, nobody, no patriot that I know would ever say that. Again, deranged white women who, MSNBC is their drug, and their eyes roll in the back of their head, and they just download whatever nonsense that MSNBC says, maybe they would say that.
All right.
Because they're crazy, right? But men and patriots, no. Women
This is not
might
really
believe
the topic, but since I was on this topic, how many times you ever heard an American say dropping the bomb twice in Japan was wrong?
I've heard a few Americans say that.
I have never heard an American question or said it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people say that.
Because Japan attack America first and they deserve what they get.
What?
So,
I heard my phone ringing. Sorry. Go ahead.
Lots of Americans have no problem with the destruction of some place else and something else. Just don't destroy the United States.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
That's a different standard. If we have to,
that's what January 6th is, destroying America.
Daddy, come on.
January 6th.
Come on, Daddy.
Democracy will never be the same again in our lifetime. Democracy, irreversible damage.
How was democracy irreversibly damaged? That is because of January 6th. Could you please point it out to me? I missed it.
Okay. America set the template for democracy, and they go around the world, viewing, monitoring election and pushing democracy and pushing two-party and pushing voting.
That's what they say, right? Yeah.
Okay. What happened January 6th? Tell the world that, okay, I can be a dictator. If I don't agree with the election, I can do the same thing, which Brazil did. And there will be no repercussion. So, a lot of countries who used to be cautious when they contest in the election is open ear market now all around the world.
So now dictators around the world are emboldened because of January 6th. Just now, dictators
not only dictators, but people who yearn for power. Not long after what happened in January 6th, the same thing happened. The same exact thing happened in Brazil.
How long has North Korea been under Kim Jong-un?
Since the 60s.
Okay, so that was a little bit before January. That was a little bit before January 6th. How many South American countries have had dictators throughout the years? I think lot. Every single one of them.
A lot.
So this idea that that the world's despots are looking around for January 6th to make sure that it's okay to go ahead and try to grab power. There was a huge coup that failed in Turkey, and that was huge news. That's. I don't think you believe what you just said. I think that just doesn't make any sense.
I encourage you to do the research, and I gave you an example.
We just talked. We just said that.
I gave you an example.
Since the 60s.
I give you an example. Right after Trump did what he did, the president of Brazil, who is a Trumpy, did the same thing.
He got pushed out of power.
He did. It doesn't. All it does is irrelevant. He did the same thing what Trump did.
He didn't do the same thing what Trump did. There was a protest in Brazil.
It wasn't a
because
protest.
They felt that
it was an uprising.
Because they felt that something weird was going on with their vote count, and after that, this one guy in the Supreme Court started just like usurping power, saying that nobody can protest certain things. Freedom of speech was pretty much outlawed in the country. What's his name?
His name is Jair.
No. I'm talking. That's the guy who's running stuff now. But the
Supreme Court
guy
was Jair.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Supreme Court guys. Brazil.
Oh.
Supreme Court. I think that'll bring it up. I just say that. Yes, here he is. This freaking Sith Lord looking weirdo right here. This guy.
He was upholding the law.
Yeah, that's what he was doing. This guy right here. This guy is on some kind of spree where he's basically running Brazil, and this is the guy. They thought things was a little weird, and they wanted a recount or whatever they wanted, and this guy, what's his name? Alexander de Moraes, whatever. He starts shutting stuff down in a very dictatorial way, and he didn't wait for no January 6th. He's been on a tear trying to destroy that country, and I hope eventually his reign of terror goes down. But they were pretty much justified.
And you are totally incorrect in your assessment. That's not the reason why they have the same uprising. It was the same thing. He was protesting like what Trump was protesting. They didn't accept that they lose the election, basically.
And what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with saying, hey, I want to recount?
Not when the evidence is clear that you lose. You just,
so in other words,
what's wrong with it? Trump does not acknowledge defeat.
Okay, but did he stay in office? Did he take over the government?
He tried to.
With a handful of people who are unarmed.
He tried to.
That it. That's a coup. 15 people unarmed.
Like I said, he tried to.
What and that to you is a substantive effort of trying to take over the government. Unarmed mom and dads.
That was his aim. It came out. That was his aim.
Come on, that man. There's no way you believe that rabble of people, unarmed, they were trying to take over the country. Unarmed. No, there was no military force. The one lady was shot in the head. No cops were shot. No cops were at all taken out.
3 cops. That's where 2 cops died.
Yeah, after. Suicide. One suicide and another one had a heart attack or whatever. But that all was after. No cops. But you saw the video. They were walking through the Capitol.
It was an uprising.
Yeah, it was an uprising the same way that, like, you know, when they make the tigers at the zoo roar for everybody to clap and go, "Oh wow, that's so cool," and they go to the next exhibit. Yeah.
So in the final analysis with the USAID,
yeah,
I believe that it would be better for America and the world if Trump had taken a more precise surgical approach in cutting out the fat, the corruption, and leave what is needed to, help this country. I am not for corruption or anything like that. Totally against it. But I see the humanity, how God make all of us to help each other. If you're fortunate to have food today and somebody don't have food, you share. I totally believe in that. This isolation that we're not going to help the needy is something that I can't support.
I agree with you. I think we should be helping the whole world. I think after, though, that we fix our country, that we get our veterans off the street, that we get our people out of debt, I think then we'll have the wherewithal to help the whole world. And what Trump should do with USAID and basically every other part of government that is not needed, he should shut it all down. And then as we're able to, we fix everything, then we could start bringing stuff back and say, okay, all right, yeah, let's start giving money here, let's start giving money here. But it should be completely transparent, and every 6 months there should be an audit of the agencies in the government. So I don't mind him slashing it all down and building it back up as needed, with the consent of the people.
That's it.
All right, thanks guys for listening. Let us know what you think. We will
like and subscribe,
and we will see you on the next one. It's only 40
minutes. Tell us another topic you would like for us to talk about next week.
Yeah, we're not even hitting an hour, by the way. It's only this is you
don't tape it.
All right.
You got to take